Quincy Mayor Thomas Koch for our weekly City Hall update. How are you today, Mayor?
Doing well. I noticed the Canadian haze this morning and last night as well, actually.
Yeah, for folks who have respiratory issues, it can be a little difficult, so take it easy for sure. Yes,
Absolutely.
definitely.
Those Canadian forest fires are so much different than ours. I mean, they're 90, 100-foot trees. They're lush. They're, big forests. I mean, California, we see those on TV, but not nearly as thick as these.
Oh, right, exactly. Yes, I
Yeah,
read a statistic the other day where so far in Canada, 6 million acres have burned this year.
it's
It's
incredible.
hard to even fathom that. Yeah,
Yeah,
and that's like 2,000 miles away, and here it is affecting us.
right,
It's
right.
astounding for sure. Speaking of weather, it was just picture perfect for the concerts last weekend, Mayor.
Well, it's the only thing we couldn't control was the weather, and we couldn't ask for better days. It was absolutely incredible. Um, it was a great weekend. When we started playing this, a year and a half ago, whatever it was, and of course all the fine tuning in the months following. Um, so many people worked so hard on this. My staff, the volunteers, the park department, police, and fire, making sure everything was safe. Jay Calpro, who's from Squantum, Jim did an incredible job with all the stage setup, and it was a first class concert both days, and I was pleasantly surprised with John Fogerty being 80 or 81 years old. My expectations were low on his voice, but he was phenomenal. He really was incredible.
Yeah.
Because Darius Rucker, we had about 8,000 at. The Fogerty, we had about 7,000. And not one incident. A couple of minor medicals that were handled, but no incidents at all. I'm told from a number of business people, the restaurants did very well over the weekend, and the bar rooms did very well. Restaurants before the show, bar rooms after the show, as I was told, which is incredible, which is awesome. That's all part of it.
Yeah.
But ran into people from Quincy I haven't seen in 20 years, 10 years. People, some still live here, but some have, moved to Braintree or some other parts of the South Shore, and you just don't see them. So it was like this giant reunion. In some ways, it reminded me a little bit of 50 years ago going to the Thanksgiving game, and the groups of walking to the game and then walking home. And we saw a ton of that. Groups walking to the stadium from all different neighborhoods, from their homes, and so the whole traffic and parking situation worked out because so many people didn't attempt to park in the area. They made plans. They walked, or they parked at Kilroy's or somewhere else, and made the trek down. So it worked out so well. And of course, everybody I ran into, had nothing but good to say about it, and said, we got to do this again. I said, if they only knew what's involved.
Right.
But we're going to look at it. Perhaps it becomes an annual thing, but we're going to do some postmortem, some analysis, and figure out the entire costs. And if we did it again, we couldn't have the ticket prices as low as they were.
Right.
This was a special year, obviously, and we wanted to make it very affordable. Obviously, we want it. If we do it again, we want it affordable. But I don't think we can do as low as we did.
Right.
The only complaint I heard, honestly, was the lines are too long for the beer on Saturday night, Joe. So I'll take that.
I understand that Darius Rucker even got in a round of golf either before or after the show, I think.
Before
Okay.
he, I guess that's a typical thing for him. Wherever he goes, he tries to get around a golf in before he plays.
Oh,
And
okay.
he's a scratch golfer. And Granite Links is not an easy place to golf, but they said he was unbelievable.
So maybe he'll come back. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? At least for golf.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but I mean, the weather just couldn't have been more perfect, and I think that really contributed to just the nice weekend for folks.
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a whole different ball game if you get some rain or something.
Yeah.
Absolutely, it was perfect.
So, and
I mean, that's the risk, as we know.
Yep, yep.
How many outdoor events have we had that have been interrupted by weather, and that's the risk you take. But there's nowhere else in Quincy you can put 7,000 or 8,000 people. So I'm so grateful to so many people that work so hard on it. Really, these things. I know the public shows up whether it's a Flag Day parade, whether it's this event, they'd show up and think these things just happen. They don't just happen. There's
Sure.
a ton of work that goes involved in it. But we talked about doing some big things for Quincy 400, and that was one of the big things. It was awesome.
I would say, yeah. It's not done yet, right? There's more to come.
More to come,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So I think a hot air balloon is next up on the agenda.
That's correct,
Festival,
yeah.
yeah. So look for that. And Quincy400.com has all the details. And speaking of walking, I mean, John Adams is famous for walking all over the city. So it's a tradition that
Very
continues.
true.
Yeah.
Very true, yep.
Today. Mary, can we talk a little bit about the project going on at Pine Hill Cemetery over in West Quincy? How's it coming along?
It's a little behind schedule, but it's wrapping up. I mean, there's the big stuff is all done. If you're looking at the veterans section, there's a pretty big wall that was put in to hold back, retention wall, but made beautiful with a stone veneer behind the veterans section. That has to be finished up. I don't know if all the final paving is finished. The touch up here and there, but the vast majority of the work is done for sure.
Okay.
And it again, I heard nothing but positive comments from people. Pine Hill was okay at best before. Its condition, its look, the aesthetics, the greenery, it was just okay. And the roads were in bad shape, a lot of dying trees. So what a different look. I mean, I've heard from people that hadn't been there in a couple of years to visit a loved one, and they were blown away by the change. So, I think it's important we honor those that went before us. And, of course, in this project, we picked up several thousand new graves, which over time will more than pay for itself, the project itself.
And those are being pre-sold, is that right? Those are available?
Yes, they are available. Yep, absolutely.
And is there like a welcoming chapel or folks?
No, we talked about one in the master plan,
Yeah.
and we just put it aside for now because the cost. I think that's something we'll revisit later.
Okay.
And that would be really for if the weather was really crazy, snow or bad rain, that
Sure.
you could gather in the chapel for the final goodbye, final blessing, if you will, and rather than go on the gravesite. It'd be a nice thing to have. It's not necessary, but it would be a nice thing to have.
Last week we talked about the new projects underway along Hancock Street, and this week there's another project on the docket on Chestnut Street, Mayor.
Yes, continues to be a robust time for the planning department, for sure. I know that many years ago when Quincy Mutual funded the East of Chestnut project by the 1400 block, which was a big success. It was the first, actually, project to go, to get in the ground, if you will, in the downtown. As you recall, we had to fire a streetworks, and there was a lot of they had written my political obituary for the most part, and everyone thought the downtown was dead. Nothing would ever happen. But the locals stepped up, Quincy Mutual being one of them, and that was the first project. And of course, we saw the Peter O'Connell project, the Galvin project, and now we're in the ground for the Beth Israel project, the Trader Joe's project. So it's really coming together beautifully. But as part of that master plan, they also had envisioned a West of Chestnut project where the old Sully's and that stretch, the back part, if you will, of the Quincy Mutual property. And they've gone through several iterations, and they're being very careful and deliberate. And I understand that. That's their headquarters for the last 150 years. They want to get it right. So I think from what I saw, what's being presented it's really a beautiful building. It's not a high-rise. It's got a lot of brick in it. It really looks Quincy. The corner by Maple Street, they've kept that wide for landscape purposes to match the J.Q. Adams Park and that stretch. So really been well thought out, and certainly want to thank Quincy Mutual and particularly Doug and Steve Briggs for the great work they're doing on that. And there'll be apartments, but there'll be larger ones. I think it'll be a different clientele. So it's looking forward to it.
Yeah, there'll be a presentation tomorrow night, actually, 6 o'clock, before the planning board. The folks.
And we're preserving the Sully sign.
Oh, you are?
We are.
Oh.
We got some plans.
Can you tell us about them?
Well, we're looking at taking some of the old Quincy signs and in one of the walls in Quincy Center somewhere to put them, and be kind of nostalgic and kind of cool. So we're working on a plan for that.
Oh, okay. What other signs does the city have?
Well, some that we may have and the Historical Society has in hand, or we may recreate some,
Remix Bargain Center?
Correct,
Okay.
exactly.
Interesting.
Yep, exactly.
Oh, more to come on that, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Thanks so much, Mayor. Always great to talk to you.
Enjoy the haze.
Yes, you too.
Bye now.
Quincy Mayor Thomas Cook, our weekly City Hall update here on AM Quincy.